Hi, Geoff Lawton here, and I'm going to talk to you about bamboo, this incredible plant that has so many uses. It's an edible plant. It's a building plant. It's a building resource. It's a hedging plant. It's a craft plant. It's easier to say what you can't use bamboo for than what you can. It's so versatile. So let's explore the world of bamboo and how we include it in permaculture design. Bamboo is the fastest growing renewable resource. It grows from bottom to top in 6 to 8 weeks. Some species will go 3 feet in one day. But because it's a grass, it's a giant grass, when you harvest it, you don't deplete the root zone. It just keeps renewing itself every single year. So we have here at Zaytuna Farm over 28 varieties. Now, because we can manage it, it's just an endless resource that keeps giving all the time. Bamboo only shoots for 3 months of the year. The running bamboo shoots from spring to midsummer, and the clumping bamboo shoots from midsummer to autumn. So this shoot is going to go from the bottom to the top in 6 to 8 weeks. Now this is one of the large bamboos, but they all do the same thing. They all grow from bottom to top in 6 to 8 weeks. They're soft then, and they take a year to grow branches when they harden up. And each year they get harder, up until the 4th year when they're the best timber because they've got to their highest density. Then on the 5th year, they start to degrade and break down and die off. So each one of these clumps has 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and 5-year-old bamboo that is breaking down at that stage. So you can harvest it at the 4th year when it's most dense. You age it by the bamboo branches. When they're dying off like this, when you've got this die off of branches, then it's the oldest. This bamboo here is about to die next year. So this is the year to take it as timber. So you can age it by the branches, you can identify it by its color and its form, and we can use it as structure and at early stage food. This is already too big for food. That little one there, when they're just coming out of the ground, that's when you cut it for food. So we dig that out, and inside there is something as soft as potato, which is like a starch crop, a main crop. So this is the edible bit, the shoot. That's your bamboo shoot. That's the edible component, the middle of the shoot. This is what we cook up as a main crop. It's all edible. It's mainly the large ones that we eat, but they're also great animal forage. Cows, horses, goats, they all love bamboo because it's a giant grass. We also use it as a mulch because bamboo's high in silica, so it's a great footpath mulch. It's slow to break down and it holds back weeds and holds the moisture as well. We also use it in rows where we don't want any weeds growing underneath, so it kind of holds back the weeds in its drip zone. We also use it as structure, so all kinds of structure. We split it and weave it into walls. We use large building bamboo as actual construction that holds up fences, holds up buildings. We build walls out of bamboo. There's many, many ways that we use bamboo as a structural element. Bamboo that's running can be a little bit of a challenge because then you have a bamboo grove and they can spread, but you can manage it in a few different ways. If you dig a trench around the bamboo, it won't cross that trench. But it also won't cross compaction. So if you drive around the bamboo with your tractor or your car on just the earth ground, it won't cross the compaction. It also won't cross a water trench. Clumping bamboo is completely different because it stays contained, but you have to manage the stems that die after the 5th year. And if you really want it to grow straight and in a better form, you take out all the bamboo that shoots late in the season. Running bamboo in the spring and the clumping bamboo from midsummer to autumn. So you're looking at the shoots and you're allowing the early shoots, which are large and away from the clump a little bit, to grow really straight stems. It's a very simple, easy plant to maintain. So any that are a little bit small or any that are a little bit bent and disformed, those are taken out. Like any pruning any tree, it's almost the same. Bamboo is a classic trap plant, and it's fantastic for managing floods. So it mitigates the flood because the stems of the bamboo are flexible. They have tensile strength, so they will bend to the flow, but they'll also have these very, very dense hair roots. So you have the rhizome root, the big root, and then you have a very dense hair root. So they're incredibly stable. They hang on to the ground and they trap debris coming through in the flood. They actually sieve the flood for debris. They pick up organic matter on the upstream side and they slow the water so you get a deposit of silt and sediments on the downstream side. With that, the erosion control, the buffering of the flood, the moderation of the flow and the pickup of debris makes this one of the very best plants to include in flood modification systems. Here we are on the back of one of our main irrigation dam walls, and the whole back of the wall here, there's hardly any weeds growing. It's completely controlled with root net. The root net underneath has got complete stability. There's not so many clumps here, but they're big, giant tropicals, and it's just bamboo leaves and perfectly clean and extremely stable. Here at Zaytuna Farm, we have windbreaks everywhere. Here at the campsite, there's a windbreak that shelters the campers, prevailing winds coming from this way behind me. But also it shelters the headlights of the cars so they don't flash across the landscape and disturb other people nearby in the village or other campers next to the campsite, because there's multiple campsites. There are windbreaks here that pick up the most destructive wind and reduce it and take it over away from our crops, away from our animal systems. But there's also the flow of air downhill, which is the cold air rolling downhill in winter. There are lines of bamboo that take that passive flow of cold air and lift it away from our crops. So in every way, the air flows and winds are affected by our bamboo lines. For propagation, all bamboo will grow from the rhizomes. With running bamboo, only the rhizomes. With clumping bamboo, the rhizomes and some of the stems. If you know the age and the branches and the stems, they can be propagated like a cutting. Bamboo being a grass, it likes manure. So it likes just to be manured to grow well, and it doesn't mind grass competition because it is a grass itself. Now there is a seeding, but it's very, very irregular. It can be hundreds of years before it flowers and seeds. Then you can grow from a seed. If you grow from a seed, it's going to take quite a few years to get to full size, as it is from a cut-in. It's much faster from a rhizome, and the larger the lump of rhizome, the quicker it will come back to full size. Each year, get a little bit bigger, usually takes 5 to 6 years to come back to full size. Bamboo doesn't like deserts. Bamboo likes nutrient. You can grow it with pure manure, but it must have water. It must have some moisture. So we have extreme dry, extreme hot and dry. It doesn't like that. You've got to have water. Now, if it's too wet, there's only certain varieties, but there are bamboos that will grow in swamps. So it will tolerate quite damp conditions, even some swamps in some conditions. And then it won't handle too cold. as you get colder and colder, you tend to get less and less varieties, and eventually you're only in running bamboo. Of course, we know that pandas eat bamboo in the snow. That's a running bamboo mostly. So there's less and less giant bamboo as it gets colder, and then we have small clumpers when it's quite cold, and eventually only a few running bamboos in the extreme edge of cold for bamboo. Worst of all, deserts with no moisture, you're not going to make it. When you plant bamboo in a permaculture system, you don't just plant a productive, functional product. You also plant a habitat, a micro-habitat. The tight clumping bamboo is habitat for all kinds of little animals. They find shelter here. Birds nest in these clumps. Little rodents take up habitat. They attract a lot of beneficial insects. Birds perch in the bamboo. There's all kinds of soil organisms that interact between the root zone and the edge of the root zone. So it's actually a benefit to all life in a system. So the more bamboo you have, the more diversity of bamboo you have, the more potential life diversity you have in your systems you design. A bamboo boulevard like this, bamboo on either side of a ridge road, is incredibly stable. There's no movement on the road at all, so really no maintenance and no weeds either below the bamboo. Elements like this that are clumping and erosion control and edible or forage or useful as craft, willows in the northern hemisphere or willows in a colder climate, but these clumping plants like this can be put to use and function. It's one of the most useful plants there is, and it's completely sustainable because it continuously regrows. You can continuously harvest, so it keeps giving back to you in every single way possible. Definitely an element that should be included where you can in a permaculture system.